We call this a world peace yagya, but there are actually many objectives of the yagya. On the screen above, you see the 25 major goals of the yagya, along with the deity invoked to produce the desired result. Fire plays an even more important part in the yagya than water. Fire is thought to represent the supreme self in each person, called the Atman, which is also the supreme self of the universe, called Brahman. When offerings are made into the fire, the energy or essence of the substances being offered are released into the universe. The primary offering is always ghee. During this yagya, thousands and thousands of gallons of ghee will be offered into the fire. When the sun shines on the earth, its solar energy is first concentrated into grass, eaten by cows that produce milk. The main ingredient in milk is actually concentrated solar energy. The milk is refined into butter, from which ghee, a golden-colored liquid that even looks like the sun, is made. When the ghee is offered into the fire with the accompanying mantras, the solar energy is released and the vibration of the mantra spreads out into the universe. The science of offering involves one section of mantras being recited, followed by the word swaha. Swaha means, I offer this. With the pronunciation of swaha, the offering is put into the fire. Along with ghee, many other substances are offered into the fire. Woods, leaves, fruits, nuts, beans, grains, and even specially prepared sweets and other foods are all offered into the fire to produce the specific results for specific parts of the yagya. Often, the mantras of a particular deity are woven into the recitation of Rudra Namakam. If you listen carefully, you can hear the Mahalakshmi mantra, which begins Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye, followed by one verse from Rudra Namakam, followed by a Sai Baba mantra, concluding with the offering Swaha. Thus, on this particular day, Rudra is being combined with Mahalakshmi and Sai Baba mantras, the goal being to bring peace through Rudram, spiritual and material wealth through Lakshmi, and illumination through Sai Baba. Here, one of our favorite Pundit boys chants and offers ghee into the fire, along with other Pundits. The fire pits are called Homa Kundas. It is recorded that long before temples existed, people in India worshipped through making offerings into the fire. Like most of the Pundits, he has 3 stripes of holy ash on his arms and forehead. The stripes indicate he is a worshipper of Shiva. The stripes have a sort of luminescence to astral beings and provide protection. In accordance with Vedic science, the fire pits, called homakundas, are created in different shapes. Each shape produces a slightly different energy for the particular yagya that is being performed. The center of the homam activity takes place at the main homa kunda. Homam generally takes place between 4 and 7 p.m. each evening of the yagya. At the conclusion of the homam or fire yagya, copious amounts of ghee are poured into the fire. Here, shanti or peace mantras are recited while ghee is poured in a continuous stream into the fire. These ceremonies at the end of the fire yagya are called Purnahoti. During Purnahoti, the Upabrahmas circle the main fire with a coconut in hand. Circumambulation symbolizes reverence for the fire, which represents the Supreme Self, or God. The coconut is symbolic of life and the world. Heart on the outside, sweet fruit and milk on the inside, and unmanifest space at the core. The fiber represents the physical body, the shell, the ego. The sweet kernel is the subtle body. The sweet water is the causal body, and the space represents the divine soul. The end of the evening's homam, Purnahoti, is a joyous and celebratory time. Precious objects such as small gems representing the 9 planets, silk, a coconut, and 5 precious metals are placed into the fire while special mantras are recited. Fireworks are sometimes lit, and a band begins to play along with the mantras. Of course, all these fires need fuel. Here we see a truckload of wood being delivered to the yagya site. In all, about 80 to 100 tons of firewood will be used during the 18-day yagya. Many other supplies are needed for the homam besides firewood. Here are some of the thousands of bilva fruit and leaves that will be offered during the yagya. It is felt that the energy of the bilva fruit released in the fire offering acts as a sort of bomb against terrorism. When possible, the school grows its own supplies, as with these flowers that are used in the many flower leis produced each day. White and red roses and other colored flowers are supplied along with tulsi, or basil, from cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Kakinada. Some of the food is also grown here on the campus, as with the squash, grown in the most unlikely of places, on the roof. The priests believe that not only does one consume the food that is prepared, one also consumes some of the emotional vibrations of those who prepare the meals. So the cooks are chosen carefully. The cooks must not only know procedures for outward cleanliness, they must also live a pure and clean lifestyle themselves, always thinking good and happy thoughts. This yagya has a very happy cooking staff that cooks food with high vibrations. Here we see the student pundits sitting down for lunch. Each day during the yagya, these students start their day with a parade around the grounds at about 5:15 in the morning. They have few breaks between then and lunch, so they look forward to a hearty lunch and a little rest and relaxation afterwards before starting the afternoon program. Most of us are concerned about germs in our food. The Vedic tradition has identified many other germs that are unknown to Western scientists. These vibratory germs are purified out through the chanting of Vedic mantras before each meal. For the boys and adult Ritwiks, lunch is a joyous time. Frequently, we find that they spontaneously break into song during their meals. After all, the Upanishads proclaim that food is God. The general public, especially those who are less fortunate, are invited each day for a free lunchtime meal. Feeding the hungry is considered an essential part of the yagya. In fact, it is one of the most important parts of the entire yagya. It is called Anandanam. In the 90 days before, during, and after the yagya, 40 to 45,000 free meals will be distributed at the Puttaparthi campus. At lunchtime, when the Ritwiks and students take lunch and a little rest, guests are provided with entertainment. This man is a master of Harikatha, or the telling of stories from the Ramayana and Srimad Bhagavatam. Here he is performing for the lunchtime crowd. Here, Pandu Malyala delights the crowd with devotional singing. Music plays a large role in the yagna. The local music in Andhra Pradesh is called Nadaswaram. Nada means sound and swaram means vibration. There's a school for Nadaswaram at the Kakinada campus of the Malayala Institute of Higher Learning. Like the students of the Vedas, the Nadaswaram students receive free room, board, and education. We hope to preserve the tradition of Nadaswaram for future generations to enjoy. Here, we see the Nadaswaram Guru with his students performing an impromptu concert on one of the islands in the pond at the Puttaparthi campus. The Nadaswaram group performs throughout the yagya and often accompanies the Ritwiks as they chant Vedic hymns. Like homam, or offering into the fire, abhishekam is a major spiritual practice done each day of the yagya. During abhishekam, water, milk, yogurt, or other liquids are offered over Shiva lingams. The lingams are spheroid objects which represent the form of Shiva, or God in the form that destroys ignorance. Here we see Raghu offering water over a Shiva lingam while mantras are recited. Offering of water and other liquids over the Shiva lingam during the recitation of mantras amplifies the effects of the mantras many times, with the intent of bringing peace and bliss to all beings. Each day, all the Ritwiks gather to perform abhishekam, as we see here. One way to understand abhishekam is as follows. The Vedas describe an ancient time when the gods and asuras churned the milky ocean. At the time of churning, a poisonous gas emanated from the ocean that threatened to destroy the entire universe. Everyone prayed for protection, and in response, Lord Shiva swallowed the gas and condensed it by holding it in his throat. This created a blue spot on his throat where the poison is held. In order to keep the gas in this condensed state, Shiva keeps Ganga or water on his head and the cooling moon on his forehead. In spite of this, now and then the poisonous gas starts to expand, resulting in problems such as terrorism on earth. Therefore, water is poured over the Shiva lingams to cool Shiva and keep the gas under control.